Hi there. Welcome to another episode of The Healthy Enterprise. If you're new to the show, welcome. And if you're a return listener, thank you for joining us again. Today's episode, I will be speaking with Hadassah Jacobs. She is the CEO of Kotzker Pharma, and she's the president of Hadassah Jacobs International. She's an entrepreneur, startup strategist, and biotech innovator. She's also an author and a journalist. This is going to be a fun episode, so let's get started. Okay, Hadassah, welcome. Thank you for joining me on this episode. I'm looking forward to our conversations. I know we've chatted already a little bit, so maybe take this first moment to introduce yourself to listeners and tell us about who you are and your company, and take it away.
Okay, well, I'm Hadassah Jacobs. And I am the founder of Hadassah Jacobs International. And we are a company, it's really a startup studio and a strategic consultancy. So we help people take ideas and turn them into ventures. And we help companies that have ideas or they have executed an idea, but they're stalling. And we help them grow from that place of stalling. So we really are at the intersection of innovation, health, and strategy. And I think we can have some fun with those ideas as
Absolutely.
Things are changing so rapidly. One of the things that we specialize in is systems. And the reason is because systems are so important for being able to have consistency in your business. And businesses that don't have the proper systems, especially a startup, they seem to struggle the most in putting all the pieces together. So we really specialize in systems. Go ahead.
Give me an example of a system that you would implement, just so that some listeners have an idea of when you talk about systems. What's an example of one of them?
Okay, very, very good. So let's just take a basic startup. I mean,
sure.
Let's take. All right, I'm going to take a young, thriving artist. I mean, I can go a lot. We're going to go into Biopharma and Biotech but most of the time, they really don't have a productivity system. So one of the systems I created, actually, myself and one of my partners, she did the artwork, but I created what was called the Block It Planner and the Block It System. And the Block It System is to help you learn how to block time so you can focus on what's important to move the needle forward. And that is the first thing, block it. I use systems like Notion. I build databases that fit people's personalities. This is really important. Entrepreneurs are flexible souls.
Yeah.
They really are. And I can tell you, if I put most entrepreneurs in the beginning with a Monday.com, I am going to lose. They're going to be gone.
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
I am. It is such an experience. So I start them and I onboard them with the simplest of systems. And I am now really in the process of digitizing my Block It system.
Ooh, that's
so
cool.
Inside Notion, so that I can connect and keep all my clients accountable for the things they have to move forward. So that's just one system that helps them to know what they need to do every day, helps them to learn how to brain dump. This is something very interesting, that when you deal with an entrepreneur, an ideapreneur, a scatterpreneur, all right, somebody who really,
I like the doubterpreneur.
The doubterpreneur. I just was
those are great
the
phrases.
other day.
Yeah.
I tell you, that's where you get the excuses. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. We'll say, okay, let's cut through that. But when you get that, one of the things that happens, especially for the ideapreneur, you have a million thoughts going through your mind at
Oh
one
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And to learn how to get all that on paper, to dump out your
Right.
brain every week, and then to plug in to your weekly and daily calendar, to plug in those things, you actually all of a sudden have a brain that can think.
Right.
It's
Right.
amazing.
And
So teaching people how to do this is really one of the things that we do. We focus on
wow.
that mindset and step by step building that system that's going to keep you focused and consistent. Yeah.
And this is habit building, right? That's what you're
Oh,
trying to do, is like create good habits for entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs, and I'm one of them, guilty of creating very bad habits very early on in your development, and then those habits become things you just have a really hard time letting go of at some point. So building habits like this early
yeah.
on is really, really good for the future of your entrepreneur life.
Really important. It's interesting because everybody kind of has their internal time clock and schedule. And so often, the things that are so important in building a business, like developing your skill sets. Now, you can pay somebody to do the work, but it has been my experience that you need to know what you're paying somebody to build.
Mm-hmm.
And so, uh, yeah, I'm pausing because I want to add another part to that. Why is it important to know? Because you have to be accountable. That person has to be accountable to you. And a lot of times, if you delegate something and you really don't know what you're delegating, then that accountability falls through. And you expect them to do everything, and they come back to you and they haven't met your expectation.
Right.
But you really don't know what that expectation is because you really don't understand what they're doing. So developing your own skill sets as an entrepreneur, not full-time, part-time, is really part of a system.
Mm.
Communicating is part of a system. Focus time is part of a system. And putting those habits in place right in the beginning and then allowing them to become flexible in your life is really key to good entrepreneurship.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's excellent. Now, you're obviously speaking from experience.
Yes. I mean, listen. I just did a reel. It'll be out tomorrow. But I was an entrepreneur very young, and my mother was an entrepreneur. And I think she had me out there at 8 years old. But when I branched out on my own with my friends, we were about 13, 14. And one of our first startups, it failed very quickly. We learned how to fail fast. But one of our
Right.
first startups was in the fertilizer business. So what
Oh,
we
wow.
decided to do,
How old are you?
I was 13, 14.
Wow.
So I had two
Fertilizer.
friends. One was an entrepreneur like me, and she and I were selling eggs and seashells. We made this whole business with seashells. But my other friend was an environmentalist. So our businesses were really different. And the first one of our startups was a fertilizer business. So here we are. We're in a suburb of Chicago, and we decided we're going to collect all the dog poop in all the neighborhood. Now, back then, you didn't walk around with your little black bag and your dog. I mean, they just went anywhere, right? And
That's right.
so we just went with shovels and we picked it all up and we went back to her
Wow.
yard and we put we laid out the newspapers all over the backyard, and we were drying all this dog food. Then we're going to pulverize it. We're going to put it in baggies. And we're going to sell it as manure and fertilizer for all the houses, because everybody had a gorgeous garden, And this is how we were going to make our summer money. And so we got everything.
All I can picture is, or all I can sense is the smell right now. I can't even.
I didn't even think about the smell, because when her father came home that night from work, he goes, she had an acre, and I think we feel like the whole thing. She comes home.
Oh my God.
And he comes home, and you hear, Vicky! And we're out there, and everybody knew if it had to be a business, I was behind it, right? So
yeah,
here I am.
You're out there, proud as punch, just collecting dog poop. Wow.
He's like, what's the blankety blank doing in my backyard? And I'm like,
oh my
well,
God.
It's our new business. He's like, what? Well, you're not doing that business. And he says, get that blankety blank off my yard. I said, it's not on your yard. It's on newspaper. So that was it. You know what? We had to get it all out. That was the end of that idea. You know what I said? It's just rippoop.com. It was over. Finished before it ever got going. Fail fast. All right.
Oh, wow. Good on you guys. That's an interesting startup idea.
We had so many funnies, and I'm going to actually be putting these in blogs and stuff. They're just so.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, so funny.
But when you said, you've learned, it is funny. You learn to fail fast, and you come to a place too. Just I know that someone who's listening is going to be dealing with the fear of failure.
Oh yeah,
always.
It just comes with the territory. But we're still afraid of it. We still want to avoid it.
Yeah.
But it is where we learn our best lessons.
When you start to train your mind and your heart that failure is literally the thing that becomes the wind underneath your wings.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally the thing that picks you up, and it makes you and gives you the insight and the wisdom that you get to contribute to the next project that you're going to jump into, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's no shame.
And so
there's no shame.
No.
And oh wow, it really takes a lot of understanding to get that stigma, that sits with you. And I realized, I was not ashamed that we quit that business in one day.
Yeah, that's impressive. I gotta say, it's very impressive.
But early on, you really have to learn how to get a hold of, really encapsulate and really use failure as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and so then you're counseling with these entrepreneurs, and it's a one-on-one coaching type program, and how does that work? Is it ongoing? Is it short durations, or is it just sort of an ongoing experience?
It really depends on the need. Okay, so very often, what ends up happening is I will be sitting down with somebody, and they will have a CV that is absolutely amazing. And they have life skills. Let's just say it's a doctor. And I'll take a doctor I just sat down with for lunch the other day. And he is somebody who was on the ground floor of 9/11. And he is an occupational and environmental doctor, a functional doctor, but really focused on occupational health and environmental health.
Right.
Fascinating. He just uprooted his entire family, moved here to Israel. And I said, so I've looked for you on the web. I see some videos you've done, whatever. Have you ever branded yourself? Like, you are the go-to expert. You are an expert in this field. And he said, no. And someone else just told me I need to do that. I said, exactly. So now that's someone that I have already begun to talk to. I will bring on board, or he will bring me on board, right? And we will build his entire persona and brand, and we will put him in the forefront as an expert in that field. And so this is somebody that will be an ongoing type of relationship. And then I might sit with another younger person that has a lot of skills, and they just need guidance. They don't need a lot. They need guidance. And so it's more of a kind of a motherly kind of thing. I'll put my arm around them, and we will just meet maybe once a week for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, until they get their footing.
Right.
And then they'll just call me when they need help. So, but usually I'm sitting with people that have skills. They've created something already. They already have a business, but they do not have a way to market that business or present that business to the world online.
Right.
So it's one-on-one, but it really is very tailored to the individual. At one time I was going to do group coaching, and I did actually do some sessions in group coaching. And I realized that even though group coaching is good in some capacities, for the type of clientele that I'm working with, they really need someone who is going to put them into the forefront and really help them build that mindset and those systems strategically. So that's what we do.
What was the catalyst for you for wanting to do this? I mean, you were doing other things prior to doing this, but what was the catalyst for you to kind of create this business and start providing these services to people?
You know, the catalyst is the fact that I sit at tables all the time, and I listen to what people need. And I've realized over and over again what they need, I can provide. I have been in this space, as I just said, since I was a young girl. My first product, now let me tell you a quick story. I was 21 years old, and I happened to be in the printing industry at the time. I was becoming a color expert, which meant that I was the one that would fly to wherever they were printing magazines, mostly New York. And I would look at the proof, I would look at the print, and I would make color corrections so they went to print the magazines and the books, and anything that dealt with color would come out looking like the client wanted.
Right.
So that's what I was doing. And somebody showed up at my office with a new kind of a print. Everything was DuPont, and it was called, they were layers and powders back then. And this person showed up with a print that looked like the real thing, and it was made with light sensitive inks. I was blown away. And they said, if you can find the guy that makes this, I will give you our account. So I literally, and I was working for somebody, I literally said, I'm going to find him. And I started walking the streets of Elk Grove Village, Illinois. I'm going to find this guy. And one day, probably, I'd say about 4 or 5 days later, I see this Rolls Royce outside of this little office space. And I go, that's got to be the guy. It's too eccentric. I mean, who has a
That's too
Rolls Royce in Elk Grove Village? I mean, it's like, this is a manufacturing area. And so I go in, and sure enough, it's the guy. And here he is. He's in the back room. He has like sparse furniture, and he's got his little system he's designed, and he's making these little proofs. And I said, are you the guy that made this? And he said, yes. And I said, oh. I said, well, the client wants more. Can I bring the film to you, and will you make it? He goes, sure. So I go trotting back, and I said, I found him. And I'm not kidding. By the end of the day, my head was like, that product needs to be on the market. Mm-hmm. I go trucking back. I said, come here and sit down. I said, I want to take your product onto the market internationally. He goes, what? He goes, our inks aren't even stable. I said, how stable are they? He said, 6 months. I said, fine. 6 months and you can give them all new inks. It doesn't matter. And that's exactly what I did. I quit my job, and I went and took his product internationally. It was so amazing to me. And so I've been in this space so long that when people are saying, I want to start, I have an idea, I'm like, I am your girl. Because I know how to take your idea and put it out into the world. You know,
that's cool.
So that's how it really started. I've been doing this with organizations and helping companies and organizations. I've been doing for a long time, well over 20 years.
Hey, one thing I want to ask you. Somebody might be wondering, why didn't you just Google that guy?
Well, there was no Google back then.
Exactly.
There was
Those were the days. It's like
there was no
Google.
However,
things weren't easy. They weren't easy to do. Like, you had to actually get out and go looking, like physically looking and
you had to make phone calls back then. Like, if you had a business, you had to make a call.
So that was the first digital print you'd ever seen, that 4-color print, right?
It was the first, and it was amazing. And that job,
that's pretty cool.
That job, you know what I got? I'm not kidding. I shouldn't. I don't know if I actually got a Rolls Royce Corniche, and I got a car phone. Now, the Corniche was one thing. It was pearl white, and it was a convertible. That I didn't even care about. You know what I wanted? That it was that cell phone, that big thing that I would carry around with me. I was like,
size of a briefcase.
Oh my gosh. It was like so cool talking on the phone in the car. I was like, this is so cool. Until we got the bill, because it was like $1 a minute, right?
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's interesting. That's that print industry. Yeah, I'm familiar with the print industry. I grew up. I trained as a photographer, and I learned on paper and ink and darkrooms, and I was in the print industry, so we had to work with CMYK and 4-color press and all that kind of stuff. I was a graphic designer, so very familiar with that. And yeah, it's a whole new world now in that space.
It is, and I'll tell you, it's a whole new world. But I believe probably myself, and many of us out there today can go right back to the Jetsons in 1962.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I was very tiny in 1962. I was a tiny thing. But when they put it out there, when I was a little girl, I remember Rosie, the robot.
The robot.
Right? The Rosie, right? And I thought, I'm going to have a Rosie. I'm going to have a flying car. I am going to, and here we are.
Here we are.
You know that Rosie, now there's an episode, this is so funny, where the daughter comes home and she's got all these videos she has to watch.
Yeah.
And videos weren't even a thing then. We didn't even have VHS.
No.
All these videos. And she says, oh no, I can't go to Acapulco because I have to watch all these videos. And Rosie says, well, just put them all in here and I can analyze them and I will have all the answers to you in 10 minutes.
Rosie AI.
Rosie AI. Here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Is that mind-blowing or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're
Yeah.
here.
And it came from an idea.
That's an idea.
An ideapreneur came up with all that stuff, right?
That's crazy.
I love how you defined all the different preneurs: ideapreneur, solopreneur, scatterpreneur, doubterpreneur. Those are great. I love them all.
My
Because you actually say, who is this for? It's for these people. I love it. From vision to venture. It's really, really cool. Now, you also wear another hat. It's a big hat. You're the CEO of a pharma corporation, aren't you?
I am.
So that's that, and that's your side gig, right?
Uh, it's kind of
Which one's your
it's all
side gig?
together.
This one?
It's interesting, but talking about these issues, Kotzker Pharma was an idea at a Shabbat table for dinner. There was a doctor that had 5 patents, and he said, I want to build a company. That was his New Year's desire. So this was like in a Jewish New Year, so it was in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I can do that. And it was an idea that we built in to a biopharma company. And that company has now been certified, and we have had, I don't know how many calls for military medicine because we're developing products that protect the brain from chemical warfare. And in the process of that, we developed a nutraceutical product for civilians that will aid in protecting the brain from pesticides and environmental toxins and in regenerating the brain. So it helps to keep the pesticides out, and it helps to regenerate the damage that has been done from exposure. And that goes into any kind of neurodegenerative diseases like your Parkinson's and your MS, and a lot of people with Alzheimer's or dementias. So the brain is so vital to protect these days. And there's a lot of great products out there that will help your brain for the moment, but it doesn't regenerate your brain. And you need that neuroplasticity. You need that brain literally regenerating or working to recover from exposures like we are. So we were exposed to. And so that was a really big focus for us to come up with something for civilian populations, especially farmers, golfers. They're on golf courses are the most pesticide-ridden spots on the earth because they're so beautiful and green. And so you have that. And I was sharing earlier the story of my father having leukemia. Well, my father had a business that he sold equipment and it treated golf courses. And 2/3, the statistics are almost 2/3 of all golf course superintendents come up with some form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma or leukemia. So, and this is all pesticide derived. Absolutely. So yeah.
So these products are available in the market now. They're available. So they're over the counter.
This product
got
is
one
available
in your hand.
online.
Look at that.
It's online.
Online. Yeah.
AgroDefense. So we have it. It's agrodefense.com. And this product is available and it works.
Wow.
It works.
So, is there a line of products?
I have a line that we've been working on. It will be a line of products. And one of the products.
So right now that's the flagship.
That's
the flagship product.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the flagship.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
wow. And how long has that been on the market now?
It's really just going on the market. I've been beta testing it for
okay.
we beta tested it And then we were going to be putting it into clinical trials, but we ran into a problem with the facility, not with us,
Mm.
but the facility. So this has been in beta testing for about 7 to 8 months, and so we've tested with quite a wide range of different issues that people struggle with in their health. And
Right.
we're
And
very
you were telling me about that before. So yeah, and it's antioxidants, variety of things in there. Explain what that is.
Because we are talking about healthcare,
Yep.
um, it's interesting that immune health is what we were talking about. Immune health, there's so many factors that play into immune health. So when we were making AgroDefend, the one thing we were focusing on was neuroprotection to protect the brain and
Mm-hmm.
to neuroregeneration. So literally neurologically there would be regeneration. But one of the big problems is that people's immune systems become so compromised. So we added ingredients, the two highest antioxidant properties in the world exist in this product.
Wow.
And so that helps boost the immune system. And then we also added like terpenes, plant based, that are specifically focused for neurological regeneration. And we added really important brain food like MCT oil
Mm.
is one of the base. I take MCT oil every single day, and I have been I put it right in my milk and for my coffee. I take a half a tablespoon every morning. I've been doing it for probably 6 to 7 years now because I found it aided in my short-term memory.
Really?
And
Wow.
it's amazing. And so
Oh
I
wow.
said, we have
I
to
need
have
some.
this in the product because we're creating a brain product, and we have
Yeah.
to do that. We have black seed oil. And with that, we have carbon 60. Now, carbon 60 is one of the most interesting, it's man made, but it is an interesting molecule because carbon 60 has been already seen to blast any kind of tumor in the body. It is an
Mm.
amazing product for tumors and different things like that, even though we don't market it like that because it's also the highest antioxidant on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So we work with that. But a lot of that also inhibits free radical growth.
Mm.
So these are
Wow.
really important,
Wow. Sounds
like
amazing.
side
Okay.
things.
All right. I got to try some of that. Okay.
Okay, well, we'll send you
So,
a bottle.
okay.
All right.
Tell me about that experience. So, you're CEO of this company. Tell me about that for you. I mean, is this kind of your, um, okay, Trisha, fix this when you get the edit. I'm just telling Trisha to fix this. um, Tell me about this transition from being into being the CEO of this company. What was some of your biggest challenges through this adventure? I mean, you know, failure is important, and lessons that come from experiences. Did you have some setbacks? Did you have some things that you had to work through?
So when I started really in the same way I start with any company. You've got an idea, and now what I'm going to do is just take it from idea to launch. This is, usually I step back at some point because the founders and the team,
They take it away,
they take
right?
it away. But
But
in
now
this
that's you.
case, it didn't go like that at all. And before I knew it, I was in a position of being the CEO, which meant I was the point of contact person for
Yeah.
everything we were doing. And one of those things was shifting and dealing with the US government to get to the place where we can get big research grants because two of our products are pharmaceutical,
Mm.
and the potential is off the charts. and they require some big research because we're dealing with chemical warfare.
Right.
And so with that, uh, all of a sudden, I find myself embroiled in the bureaucracy of getting into the
No doubt.
Department of Defense and having to deal with all different kinds of
The FDA
aspects.
and the regulatory
Exactly.
process. Yeah.
Just, it took me 3 months of, in five organizations within the government that I had to get approvals for just to be able to get into the area of the DoD that works in the kind of pharmaceutical that we're building.
Wow.
So this was very unexpected and very time consuming and very frustrating for the founder because he himself, didn't anticipate that we would have these long stretches of uncertainty when we were looking into how the clinical trials and the research. And so these were the big challenges. And that was, even how we were going to get certain chemicals from one place to another. These were very, very big challenges for us as a startup. And going through that as the CEO was definitely stretched me way beyond my normal skill sets. So
Now you had a fresh perspective for people that perhaps you can work with now to say, oh, I can help CEOs get through these challenges and because you're like you said, it's a very different burden to have it all on your shoulders.
exactly.
Every decision is made, it comes through you. Maybe you don't have to make every decision. It could be committee based or whatever, but the buck stops with the CEO, and they take the glory, but they also take the shame, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's and you're not monetizing. And I think when you have a startup and you're a CEO, making sure that you have your investors and monetizing is so high on the list of what is necessary because you have to keep the company going while it's in a research phase, right? So having to step back and go through a long stint where you actually have to acquire all of the certifications and everything that you need, you really become pulled. It's
Right.
like, uh, okay, which comes first? What are we going to really deal with as a company? What's the most important thing right now? And so learning how to juggle that was quite um, unexpected, but
Yeah.
we did it. We did
Yeah.
it. And that was the cool thing. And now I can
Wow.
help people
Congratulations.
actually navigate the government system. And that
Right.
that right there is huge. For grants and for
Especially
business
in healthcare.
in healthcare, exactly.
Oh,
It's huge.
wow.
Uh, because healthcare is really going to change. It's changing already, and we're going to see a huge change. Uh,
Okay, good segue. What do you see as the greatest shift in that in this industry coming towards us?
the greatest shift is going to be going from uh, just medical intervention to prevention.
Yeah.
This is the
It's
big shift right now.
that's a great I love the way you said that, from intervention to prevention.
And
Yeah.
that is a mindset shift for humanity on a whole. Kennedy in America, he says, you're going to have to start labeling products. We've got to take Coke. We got to start dealing with the Coke issues in the schools. We've got to start dealing with the issues that are destroying people's health because they go to the doctors. It's what causes this incredible economic burden for healthcare. And there's no prevention that is actually educationally transmitted to the people or boots on the ground. And do you know that COVID was not a difficult disease if prevention would have been put in place?
Right.
Yeah. You wouldn't need intervention if we would have just shipped out boxes of
Yeah.
vitamin D and just some key core vitamins to build people's immune systems that they found was very, very helpful against this disease.
Right.
If everybody would have gotten a box, right, and just took their supplements, everybody probably would have come through COVID much, much better than what happened. So.
And other things you brought up, systems earlier. I mean, what I hear a lot from guests is that the systems that are in place right now also need intervention
100%.
because the systems are not functioning the way they used to. The systems are broken, and people are coming up with ideas on alternatives to the systems that are already in place. And I think do you think those things are also going to be part of the big shift moving forward? Is that the systems have to be taken apart and rebuilt because they don't really support us anymore?
No. I'm so glad you asked that question, because what I'm about to share goes across. It really crosses the spectrum in all of the different business genres, but healthcare is one of the keys. So we know that we're already seeing online healthcare, right? We also have like the Better Me now, and we're seeing that people can plug in what their symptoms are, and you're going to have AI generated healthcare. And AI is actually going to weed out the situations before you ever even get to a nurse or a practitioner of any kind. We're going to see this. The healthcare system can't handle this at all.
No.
At any level. There's only individual companies that are really dealing with this, doctors that are building this apart, like functional doctors, right? So when I talk about systems, and this sounds very odd for the healthcare industry, but every business has been built over the last 50, 70 years where the CEO and the administration is at the center. And then you go out from there and you have a marketing department over here. You have a sales department over here. You have a PR department over here. You have your accounting department. And when you look at the healthcare industry, right, you have all of your different specialties, right? All those different specialty departments.
Yep.
And still, the system is set up where your board and the head of the hospital and all the chairs, this is your core.
Yeah.
It is not like that anymore. The core of every business, and most importantly, healthcare, is the marketing center. Marketing, we used to just look at marketing as, how you're going to promote your business.
Right.
But marketing is where you serve the people. It's not, it's where you educate the people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where you monetize. So you serve, you educate, and you monetize through your marketing department. Marketing, sales, but that department, that has
sales
now, with social media, it's social marketing. Your customer, your client becomes the center. The community is in the center. The target market is around it. And around that is your marketing department.
Right.
who's going to serve, educate, and monetize to meet the needs of the people.
Right.
Then you have your outer core, which is all those departments, right? And
Right.
all of them have to feed into the marketing,
Right.
all of them. But what is key is you have to have two kinds of systems. You have to have a system that automates the communication and the goals of the company through the marketing department to the people. AI is brilliant at this, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to have the system that's the productivity system, the high performance system, the productivity system that actually communicates the marketing department to the rest of the company or the rest of the healthcare organization. So you've got this interweaving of this core and system, and then the next core and system. And so right now, that does not exist.
No, not at
And
all.
it's
Nowhere close.
literally, in fact, it's one of the legs that one of my partners and I, we've really given consideration of going into the healthcare industries and into businesses and taking a look at their systems and overhauling them so they become really community and client-centric. They know how to automate their service, their education, and their monetization. And then they know how to communicate all of that between the different departments. So
Right.
it becomes centralized. Very, very important. And for healthcare, nothing is more important.
Critical. Yeah.
It's critical.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm.
Yeah. And that's what would you call this system? Do you have a name for it yet?
I have a name for one that I designed with my partner. We call it the ID3 system. It's pretty amazing. It is absolutely amazing in the content messaging world. But in this, I just call strategic consultancy right now because I think everybody's going to be different. But we should call it healthcare AI. I don't know. We'll
something like that.
Come up right now.
Okay. You and I will work on that.
That's right. Healthcare. All right. Follow the Apple model. So yeah, is absolutely. But healthcare, this is vital because, if I go on, I have a symptom of something. I am actually not wanting to just tell you a symptom. I'm looking for the solution.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the next thing. And is it okay if I just go into this for 1 minute about solution?
Yeah, absolutely.
Solution is connected to mindset in the most unique way. And we've been talking about businesses. We're talking about healthcare. So what's happening with the younger generation and what's happening even in our generation, I really don't want to go to that doctor and I don't want you to give me meds. I just don't want it. I want you to tell me how I can fix the problem. And one of the things that happens when we're diagnosed, and you have just walked through this, and we've all walked through this at some capacity, is you go through a plethora of emotion and thought. What is this? Am I going to die? How, there's so many, how sick am I going to be? Am I going to get better? Am I going to feel better? When am I going to feel better? Right? There's
confusion and doubt and fear.
God,
and
it's a plethora. And so one of the things that, when we become aware of the fact that when we face something scary, and healthcare is a scary and a cool thing, but it's scary. But this, again, is cross the board in genres of business. and the entrepreneurial world. So when we face an obstacle, a challenge, an unexpected,
Mm-hmm.
two things can happen. Either our mind can go down the road of not seeing the solution and dealing with all the doubt and the struggle and the frustration, or we can train our brain, I say, train our mindset to immediately go to, okay, this is the problem. Now, what's the solution? This is what has to happen in healthcare. That system that has to be built has to be solution based.
Mm.
And so when somebody goes on and they say, I'm struggling with a rash from the top of my head to my feet, and they plug that in, they need to walk away with, okay, it could be caused by you ate too many strawberries. You combine two different medications that don't go together. If I take vitamin B with my morning anti-aging stuff, whatever I take, I'm telling you, I get a rash. I start itching. Vitamin B can't be anywhere near that stuff. But
Right.
when you're online and they need to say, okay, these are the questions, you plug in the answers, and they say, okay, here's the solution. And if they think it's more dangerous, life-threatening, then they have that solution, right?
Right.
Then you need to go to your neighborhood clinic right away. You need to call your doctor, right? This is the kind of system that has to be developed. It has to be preventative, solution-based.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about all the various technologies that are happening now, there's enough information now that you can actually have a genetically assessed who you are as a genetic
Yeah.
organism.
Yeah.
So all your information is there, and that's
Yeah.
fed into the system. If there was a place to put it, and
Yeah.
then we all have medical devices that we carry, our Apple Watch or whatever else, that are recording our heart rate, and we're
Yeah.
recording all our, and so you have ongoing live, right now current data that's being fed into your own health profile, that if something comes up and it's like, oh wow, you've got a series of this been happening over the last 5 weeks, and you probably should maybe take some new medicine, or take some new vitamins, or you get advice on a regular basis, real time. And
Real
then
time.
if something serious starts to happen, well, then your doctor's looped in, and then he takes a look at the data and looks at the information. So you have this sort of live system that's actually,
So I had the
happen.
coolest thing happen when I was in Chicago. I was in Wisconsin. But anyways, in December, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to have my eyes checked, and I needed an appointment before I flew back. And so the only appointment was available at one of the big eyeglass places. And so I took it. It was like $69.
Yeah.
And I get in there, and they've got the coolest machines, like the coolest. And so I do all my eye things, and you watch the front of your eye, like a video. And then you watch the back of your eye. And it's so cool. Well, when I got into the eye thing for them to do my prescription and everything, she was teleported in. The doctor was in California.
Wow. Teledoc.
She was a teledoc.
Telemedicine.
And
wow,
she
that's really cool.
controlled all the things.
Wow.
From where she was. It
amazing.
Was so cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was like, that is so cool. But this is the future of healthcare.
That's it.
This is what we're looking at.
Yeah, you'll be able to do it right from your living room at some point.
Exactly. And it really should be, because first of all, it is time. And I know you will agree with this. It is time that we put healthcare back into the hands of the people.
Yes.
It's
100%.
so important
100%.
that people not only take control of their health, but they have the tools and the education they need to take control of their health. Gone are the days of TV dinners. This is, we grew up on TV dinners.
Yeah.
And
TV dinners and the Jetsons.
oh my goodness, yes. But I'm going to build Rosie. I'm telling you, she is like on my list. I've already been like talking, like,
that's
how
your
are we going
AI.
to code
Rosie.
Rosie, I want Rosie, And back then she was, the first episode, not to get really sidetracked, but the first episode of the Jetsons back then, Rosie was like, she was going to the scavenger pile. She was so old. She was like an old robot.
She's an old robot. Yeah, she got refurbished.
Exactly. It was like, oh my gosh.
It's so cool.
So
okay, so let's we could go on. I know this has been great. I really have enjoyed this conversation, and I know we could go on for much longer. But let's come back to a couple more questions for you. I want to talk about, for you, you're a CEO. You also help people, entrepreneurs, get their start and help them, guide them. What's your leadership style as far as when you're doing that? How do you approach both your CEO job and also coaching from a leadership perspective?
That's such a great question, because, I've always been I'm a pretty free spirit, kind of a fluid type of individual. And so one of the key things in leadership is planning. It's literally being able to find that balance of people and dealing with people, time alone, but especially your focused time to move something forward. So I use my own products. I plan. So as a leader, I teach people to plan too. But I plan in a way that I do the brain dumping. I do my weekly planning. I plan out my calendar, right? And I also really think about when I'm going to have the right mind space to do certain things. I've got to be in the right headspace for certain things. I have to plan my energy. So I plan everything from A to Z. And then if something's not working, I optimize it. But I do it in a way that I can change course on the drop of a dime. Why is that important? For an entrepreneur, it's very important. But when you live in situations like we live, like here in Israel, and I can do this in the States too, Miami and Chicago, but you don't know when a bomb is coming. A siren is going to go. I was sharing with you earlier that today,
Scary.
a siren was coming in. And so I just took my little computer, went into I have a bomb shelter right in my bedroom here, locked the door, me and my computer, and I just kept, preparing for our podcast. But you don't.
It's hard for most people to imagine. It really is, right?
It is. But flexibility. So, you don't know when your child is going to get sick. You're going to get a call from a school. When
a tornado touches down.
A tornado touches down, a natural disaster. Your neighbor needs help. And that's when I say you need to build in a way that your structure is so consistent but fluid. Because in today's society, I am not going to go to an 8 to 5 job, and I'm not going to sit there behind the desk and only leave when I can take a bathroom break. Right. We are a social society now.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to be there for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't need to over be there for each other, because then we never get anything done.
That's
Oh
right.
my God. Been there. Okay.
There's a limit.
Yeah,
Stay
exactly.
within it.
So when I block time, even when I block time with people, I block this amount of time. We've got an hour and a half, and whatever you want to do in that hour and a half, whatever you want to talk to me about. But the hour and a half's done, I got to go. All right. And so my leadership style really does hinge around, first of all, training myself and making sure that my structure is very sound and very consistent,
Right.
and very focused. And then the second part of that is systems. I have serious systems, and I have serious AI automation going. I have a serious relationship with ChatGPT. I mean,
I like that you use the word systems as opposed to processes.
no, it's systems.
I think it's a better word for that. For those things that you're talking about, I think systems is a better use of word than processes. Yeah.
I can put one thing in, and I'm the more we're moving in this direction, the better it gets. But to be able to put one thing into my calendar and have it literally create everything I need around that event is amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't sit there for 10 hours anymore creating that.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah, exactly.
I have incredible input in what's created.
Mm-hmm.
And so and leaders and people shouldn't be afraid that AI is going to take over everything.
No.
AI needs people to input.
Yeah. It needs us as much as we need it.
It's just learning how to get the most out of it.
No.
So systems and habits, mindset, strategy, and systems. That's how I lead. And I lead my people. I have a great team. I lead them that way too. And I've a couple of older people, and they'll say, so I'm going to have to give this up when you need me for more hours. And I'm like, no, you're going to have to you can go. Just this is what I'm going to give you what we need to get done, and you just get it done. And they're like, you're kidding me. And I'm like, no, you get it done, but go enjoy your class. Go enjoy having dinner with a friend. Go enjoy yourself. And I've always believed in that. I don't believe you need to create all these separate pockets of life. Just live your life.
Yeah.
And put it, plan it out.
Put it all together. Yeah.
Make your calendar a lifestyle calendar, not an appointment calendar. A lifestyle
great advice.
Calendar.
Yeah, that's a great advice. A life calendar. Yeah.
Yes.
Great advice. Wow. Thank you so much, Hadassah. This has been such a great conversation. Now, we didn't even get into the fact that you're an author. You've got books you've written. We didn't even get into that yet. But where can people reach you and find you to get more information about you and the work you're doing? Where can they find you?
First, my website, hadassahjacobs.com, LinkedIn, and I'm building my Instagram account. I'm getting out there. So it's at build. It's Build with Hadassah. Its Instagram is Build with Hadassah. Nice. And so I'm doing it. That's how we're doing it.
So. We'll put the links in the information for people to find as well. So, but I just really appreciate you sharing your expertise, your insight, what you're offering to entrepreneurs, and that product that you showed me. It looks amazing. So I look forward to our next conversation.
Me too.
I'll have you back again for sure. This is it's been a lot of fun, and maybe we'll talk about some other things that you're doing. So again, appreciate you very much. And thank you for spending this time with me today. On record, this is the longest podcast we've done.
Well, thank you. I have enjoyed it, and getting to know you is just such an honor. Thank you so much. And I'm going to keep you and your family in my heart and prayers. And I just want to thank you for this opportunity, and really have enjoyed this time together. Thank you so much.
Okay, what a fun conversation. I really enjoyed meeting Hadassah. I feel like I've known her for a long time, and I just met her today. Super fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that conversation as well. Some key things to take away that I noted were her comments about systems and how crucial they are for consistency in business operations. Also, her viewpoint on healthcare right now is that it is shifting from intervention to prevention, and that systems in healthcare need to be restructured for better efficiency in the future. Healthcare should also be client-centric and community-focused. And I know that's at the heart of most people's drive in healthcare, but sometimes the business does stray from that focus. One little piece of advice from her to entrepreneurs and professionals is that planning your schedules needs to be integrated into a lifestyle and not just for work, to allow fluidity and consistency so that there is structure, but also freedom to make decisions on the fly and build in a little fun. So anyways, great advice. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks to you for listening, and enjoy your week, and we'll talk again soon. Stay healthy.